Hello, it's Justice Allison Olivia, and we are presenting on the topic of food insecurity. So basically just to introduce food insecurity, specifically in Ingham County, that's what we focused on. There is a prevalence of food insecure individuals. It's one of the highest rates in mid-Michigan. Although there are resources to combat the issue, it remains widespread and rampant. About 1 in 4 children are food insecure in the county, and as a community, we really need to address this issue. And so this is just a little infograph, and it's taken from Feeding America. So overall, 1 in 6 children struggle with hunger, and 1 in 7 people struggle with hunger. And basically, there needs to be much more funding in order to sufficiently combat this issue. So the problem, obviously, food insecurity. So the USDA defines food insecurity as the lack of access to nutritionally adequate food to lead an active and healthy life. And basically, no one's immune to becoming food insecure, but there are more populations that are vulnerable than others. So households with children come in at about 13.9%. And then households without children are at about 9.9%. Single women are at 14.2%, and single men are at 12.5%. And although these numbers reflect that, I think also a population that is overlooked are the seniors. A lot of senior people don't know that they even qualify for food stamps or can get food assistance. So they're a huge portion that I think are underrepresented. So the people of Ingham County may not have the issue of getting food as there are multiple food sources, but it's more likely the issue of accessing or affording nutritious food.
So our community assessment, so with Ingham County, we would label this county as a transit community just because a lot of the residents in this community are not local residents, meaning like they just come here for job changing or coming here for college. So they don't necessarily identify with the other community members in this community. And then also, there is already a lot of work being done in this community now. In 2018, in Ingham County alone, the Greater Lansing Food Bank served over 4 million pounds of food, as in products of food waste, not food waste, but food and meals combined. And then also the MSU Student Food Bank has served over 6,000 students and families annually. And there's a lot of different churches, community centers, and other nonprofits in the community that serves meals and distribute food to those that are experiencing food insecurities.
Yeah, and some of those specific resources that are in the community, like Justice said, are churches, a lot of community centers. Allen Neighborhood Center is a big one, Calvary Christian Fellowship. The Ingham Health Department actually does a lot of work with SNAP signups, the school districts. And so there's a lot of different resources in the area. Further than that, we have a great transit system so people can get around to get groceries, to go to the food banks, to go to the farmers markets. And this isn't really a new system in Lansing. We've had food resources in place as early as 1964. That's when the Capital Area Community Services was founded. In the 1981, the Greater Lansing Food Alliance was founded, and that's now called the Greater Lansing Food Bank. So we have all of these resources, but food insecurity still exists in Lansing. So why is that still a thing? A big reason is affordability. Lansing has a lot of chronic homelessness, chronic poverty, a lot of joblessness throughout the city. A lot of the most recent development has been big, expensive apartments that the residents can't really afford. There's not really places to go. There's not really places to work. So all those factors combined create an issue and a cycle of poverty and then not being able to afford food, and that just perpetuates the system. Also, physical access. There's a lot of systems in place to get people food, but the limited reach in the transit system is still an issue. It only runs certain hours for certain bus lines, people who work not typical 9 to 5 hours. It's not very accessible for, and it doesn't reach out to the outer limits of the city. So if you have any type of physical restrictions from getting onto the bus, that can be an issue for people. So there's still things that keep people from accessing all of the resources in the Lansing area.
So some of the goals that we had with our community action plan was, one is to canvass and ask people what type of resources they need and what they know about food insecurities. For my hands-on experience, number 3, I actually did canvass a neighborhood that I work in, and I learned a lot of people don't know the true definition of food insecurity. And I actually did not know the definition of food insecurity until Olivia and Allison had told me, because I just thought food insecurity was like, you don't have enough money to buy food, but it's also the lack of having nutritious food, which I did not think of at all. And also, through canvassing, I learned that a lot of people are not aware of the many resources like food banks and things that we have in the area. Allison listed out an entire list of different resources that we have, and looking at the list, like, I've only heard of 4 of them, so it was really great hearing that. And another goal that we have is just creating a database for residents that is compiled of every single resource that is available for them. Like I've stated, like through canvassing, a lot of people weren't aware of the resources that are available for them. So creating like a database that are not only shared with residents of the community, but also all the different resources as well. That'll just make everything more easily accessible for residents to know like where they can go to receive the resources that they need.
And so, okay, I'll do point 3. So our third goal is just to connect our mission and those in need to the already existing resources in the community. So that can look like various agencies collaborating, putting on different events to kind of get the word out about all the various agencies and helping agents that are already in our community. And then our fourth goal is to reduce food insecurity in the area, empower those impacted to utilize resources. And that can look like a lot of different things. But basically that's our overarching goal, is just to reduce the number of food insecure individuals. So in conclusion, the issue of food insecurity is one that should not be taken lightly. It really does affect a lot of different people in our population, in our community. Overall, it reflects an issue with the lack of resources that are given to the more impoverished populations. As a community, there are organizations that are already in place, but we need more support to eradicate the issue. The ways that we can come together as a community and help include supporting local food banks, donating canned goods, your time, volunteering to help organize the pantries or organize food drives, help advocate in our community for more resources. So that can look like telling your friends about it, putting on an event potentially. And then the third is just educating ourselves on the current climate of the issue. So that looks like reading articles about it, knowing how many people are actually affected by it. So yeah. And then these are our references right there. And that is our presentation.
Thank you.